Hello guys and welcome here for game number 2. Game number 1 was pretty one-sided, honestly. Thunder Predator, as we expected, were the better team, so indeed the clown should be happy for you, Trent, as Thunder Predator bet the better draft, and it showed. Infamous didn't really... I don't know what their plan was, to be honest. We didn't really get to see them execute it. Yeah, well, it wasn't really... I mean, the Sven kind of just mowed through them. There wasn't really a moment where Infamous seemed to be winning. Did you guys expect the Batter to do... Oh, sorry, the Slark to do better against Bat? Because I certainly was.
Yeah, same. I've seen that matchup in the Western EU qualifiers very recently, and that was a Slark who completely ran away with the game. And to see the Slark pushed out this hard and then just not hit any point where he could do anything for the game. Like they got one moment after the defusal blade where I was like, is he actually going to? And then they immediately started focus firing him again with the stuns, chaining it very neatly, and his game was over. And that was it. And I expected more from that Slark, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think the game from there as well, like when your Slark has that rough of a start, then you don't get many of the advantages that you're looking for out of the mid lane, and they were already sort of struggling in that department in terms of having someone that can play a little bit active. We were kind of discussing during the break this idea of like, who's going to go and do stuff with this Brewmaster, particularly a Brewmaster who has a Meteor Hammer, which is a cool item to help you like farm into that next one. You can get there. It's something a little bit more useful than a Midas in some regard because you can actually like, hit towers, but like you still don't want to be by yourself. And it felt like Brew kind of got sent out on an island because both Void and Slark had to do some serious creep hitting.
Yeah, and that was the issue Alone had on Eagle Boys last season. And that's why I was hoping not to see the Slark mid this, because even if the matchup went well, I just didn't really... He just doesn't seem like that kind of player. I don't want to tempt him, you know? You got to put him on something that can't farm. So he's forced to fight. That's my read on Alone. Like the Invoker. I mean, he plays a good Invoker. That could be an option. I mean, Thunder going for the other... They're rolling through Dark Mago's pool of 3 heroes. Kunkka is the next one, so there's a game 3. It's going to be tiny. And Kunkka is probably Dark Mago's best hero by a long shot. I mean, even though his battery is great and so is his tiny, like, Kunkka is ridiculous. He's definitely a Kunkka spammer, and he's beaten lanes he has no business beating. We've seen him beat in officials, a Huskar, and an OD with its hero, because why not? Dark Mago.
Yeah, and it also, you mentioned earlier the Abba as well for Panda. A pretty classic hero. He's tagged as Panda Moo. I did not notice that before. That's awesome. But anyway, Panda Boo usually. It syncs up really well because you have like this Abba who can like run into fights as long as you make it to the mid game. It's some decent leveling, and you know, you've got shield for damage reduction. You've got the bow. You're doubling up on that, in fact. And both of them really good versus the arena. I actually quite like playing Abba versus Mars. I think it's a pretty good matchup because if you're not inside the arena, it's fairly easy to get a shield off on someone who gets pinned.
And I mean, even if you're in the arena, because they usually definitely don't want to... Yeah, they don't want to focus you. You're not going to die ever. I do like, though, that Infamous right now, fine. If their mid laner is not going to join or has trouble doing that sometimes, Mars and the support, and especially one with as much damage as a Hoodwink and her reach as well, they can make kills happen. They can make things happen just with the two of them. The Mars just needs a decent start.
You know, as of this morning, Hoodwink was actually 6-0 across the DPC. I was checking out some of the earlier stats. It was like the most undefeated hero, which I was a little surprised by. But it turned out lost 2 games today. So Hoodwink not having a great day so far. Lost the title. Now currently 6-0 with the title is Shadow Demon. So we'll see how that continues.
Interesting. What was expecting Shadow Demon of all heroes to be? I guess because you only pick it against counters, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like tends to like, you know, whenever the ulti's really solid, it tends to come out.
Well, we'll see if you're right, Kips, because the Mars Hoodwink is already a really solid idea to start building your draft around. As you said, the kill potential is important. I'm just hoping Alone gets, again, something that's a bit more mobile. The Ember Spirit's the other hero that he does play that's quite mobile. But, of course, that's been banned as well. So they're also, much like you could condition Dark Mago by taking away his Tiny, for example, they're conditioning Alone by taking the heroes that might be a bit more active on the map early, like the Ember himself.
No, I'll give you my other DPC stat from this morning as well. Would you be willing to take a guess at who the most banned hero is so far across the whole DPC, uppers and lowers? Your hint is that they are first phase banned in this draft.
Weaver?
Excellent guess. Well done, Avo. Weaver is the most banned hero. 50 bans total.
Wow.
However, Weaver also has been picked 16 times, I believe here. Yeah, and has a 25% win rate. So 4 wins and 12 losses so far, despite being so heavily banned.
That's one of the reasons that I'm very surprised by your stat here, because I have been watching a lot of Weaver and I've been watching a lot of bugs getting swished. Either they never get to the Aghanims, or when they do, there's some Void Spirit on the other team and he just steps on them and they never get a single time lapse off. It's been very tragic, and I'm surprised to see teams still placing that high of a priority on it.
Yeah, I think to me it seems to fit in a category similar to like the Snapfire in terms of like that pressure in the lane. I think is like one of the more threatening aspects of it. Like you don't want to get like completely bullied down and then suddenly your carry's all tilted. And those early medallions can be a bit rough to face versus. But yeah, I was very surprised to see the hero's not doing that well, considering how strong it has certainly felt lately. And well, Ogre's back.
Yeah, but this time for Infamous, right? So they change hands. They're like, guys, what if we just copy their draft? That's genius. They can't beat us now. But, I mean, this is an actual hero. He does play it a lot. It's a hero that he can die with in lane and still be useful afterwards, which is great for him. And is a hero that usually win lanes with, which is something South American teams in general like, particularly the safe lanes are to be really aggressive with it. So, solid, but of course this all depends on the carry here for Lumiere and who they're going to be picking up. And Thunder Predator still hasn't revealed what their matchup is, so... Yeah, there's the Snapfire you mentioned, Trent.
Busted hero.
I mean, what's not to like? You've got a great team fight ult. Together with the Kunkka, you have so much magic damage in the mid game now, as well as extra minus armor. So she helps a lot of these carries in the safe lane do really well. Or alternatively, in the off lane, of course, you get the stun from the cookie. You can do anything you want with this hero.
Yeah, and the big combo's there, the Void, if they wanted to go for it. But they're going to go a different route here. Yeah, grab our 3, and we get the Snap Tie, double minus armor lane.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a very oppressive lane, but the problem with this one is the cooldowns, right?
That's true. Yeah, they I mean they have Boat, which is like decent, but yeah, playing around Ravage can be rather troublesome sometimes.
Yeah. The lane, though, is very, very strong. I actually saw it today in Eastern Europe where they almost, like 100-0 in IO with just Gush and Low Shredder level 1, which was ridiculous. Just those 2 abilities alone. And, I mean, IO is not the tankiest of heroes, but he's not, you know, he's not like a Crystal Maiden or whatever. So I was very impressed. I don't think Ogre is the easiest target for this, but if you pick up a carry with not much armor, you might just be able to beat him super early.
We got a bear here. Can I get an Ursa?
You think Ursa's the pick here? Okay.
Ursa's
like, he's good
great.
against Tide. Do you think Snap is a bit scary for the Ursa, though?
I think Snap's scary for every carry.
That's fair.
Although, the other
That's
issue
fair.
is, like, Ogre also doesn't synergize that well with Ursa, because, like, you're trying to give attack speed and it's an Ursa. But then you start looking to, like, a Jug. You're like, yeah, Jug looks good, but Jug's a trap. We all know Jug's a trap.
Oh, yeah.
Don't fall
He's
for it,
never
guys.
good.
No, he's never good. He's a trap.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm sold on the Ursa, Trent, honestly. I agree with your synergy points more than I agree with your initial point. Oh, this could still be a safe lane TA, could also be a Lone's TA, and once again we give a Lone a farming hero, so maybe Lumiere will just get a mid laner instead. That's a good solution.
As long as we have someone else doing stuff, that would be good, you know.
Yeah.
Don't send him out on an island again here. You know, give Sacred some help.
Could you Lifestealer maybe and do the classic Lifestealer TA combo?
It's like an acceptable Jug.
I'll take it.
Tolerable.
I'll take it. Acceptable.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any safe lane SF fans here? Are you guys in on this little trend that's going around? Or are you out on it?
Oh yeah, I mean, I saw that happen in NA, and I'm very skeptical about it because SF trades so well in a mid lane when there's nobody else to hit him, and then in a side lane, oof.
I think it's fine. I actually like the safe lane SF, to be honest. I mean, we've been seeing safe lane Kunkka, so if that's a thing that people are trying out, I think SF is much more normal than that.
I do notice that I
sure.
see it quite a bit when they have the Mars too, right? 'Cause they want to get like the combo with the arena and the ulti.
I don't know if Lumiere is the kind of guy to play in safe lane SF, though, if I'm honest with you.
It also seems pretty crazy with safe lane or like mid TA safe lane SF. You just
Yeah.
have like 2 of the same hero. That would be a little bit wild.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm not that big a fan. Oh, and so Thunder Predator thinks this is a side lane TA, by the way, which fair enough. Actually, I would like that pick. I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah,
Kind of
agreed
surprised they left in the Faceless Void. I feel like that still looks pretty good.
For Thunder?
Yeah. Like they don't
It
really have any good
becomes
saves.
So cooldown dependent though.
That's true. Yeah, but sometimes you have so many big cooldowns that it's like it's so
That's true,
intimidating.
actually. That's true. And then you can start actually shifting them apart. Yeah, there it goes.
Yeah, but just because it happened doesn't mean it's right. Because I do still agree with all what Kip's saying. Because like what can happen though is that like if Infamous win their lanes and they go to Roche and you biff that one fight and you use Ravage and Chrono and like they either get out or there's some like disengage or something, like maybe there's a defensive arena and you miss out that opportunity, then they're just going right back in the Roche pit and take it. So it is still a risk.
Yeah, like if you lose towers early or something and this TA and Marsh just start picking you off, you don't want to be spending your ults on that. And then the Doom.
Yeah, I love that
So
pick.
it is
that pick's sick.
Yeah.
safe lane TA.
That's a good pick. Alone on the Mars. We're going
Excellent.
for the mid Mars, perhaps. Side TA. I mean, who knows? They'll just do it based on their matchups. But this Doom
Yeah?
versus the
It is
Tide in the
alone
Faceless
Mars.
Void, that's nice.
I actually like this a lot, to be honest. It is here the moves in the mid lane. Like Mars, yeah, he can be a win condition, but of course he has to gank. So you have that hunting squad.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Same.
that. I like that.
They're going to have to spend a lot of these big ultimates just to bring this Doom down, especially because he's going to have a really fast BKB. That's like if you have to spend all of that just for the one hero, and then you still have the TA and the Mars to deal with. Yeah, big thumbs up to the last big here as well.
Good pick. I think
Oh.
they still lose. I think Thunder Predators round overall. Still kind of had them the whole way through, and I feel like they look super solid game 1. But I'm impressed they pulled the Doom out. I still just think this game looks... it's pretty tough, They gotta really try and force bad ultimate here out of Thunder Predator. I feel like that'll be a very good key to their success.
Kips,
if
are
you
you
get-
an Infamous believer?
Ooh, the way they fell apart, like you need to keep on punishing them as soon as the big ults are down. And I'm not sure if they can do that. I think that if they get, run over by the big ults one or twice, they're just going to fall apart if the previous game was any indication. So I am a doubter as well.
All right, well, our panel doubted them the first time and they were completely right. Will the clown be right again? We'll have to see as we go to our 2 casters. It's going to be SeekNStrike and Dota 2 Bowie.
Hello.
Don't you dare call me by my real name. It's a secret and no one can know it. I am Richie SeekNStrike and I'm here with Dota 2 Bowie. We're here for game number 2. Bowie, there's another Faceless Void lining up on the other side of the river this time around here for Thunder Predator. Right away, I see a couple big differences, notably teamfight ultis to fight into Chronosphere. Do you like this Faceless Void pick a little bit more this time around? That's what I want to know your thoughts on first.
I definitely like the Faceless Void. I think it is a much better Faceless Void game. But with that said, I do feel like the draft on the Infamous side is much better as well. So I think, the panel, they might be a little bit desensitized because that game was, it was a rough game for Infamous. But I do believe their players are equally skilled than the Thunder Predator ones. I just feel like they draft slightly better on the side of Thunder Predator. But this time they have a much better time to showcase their prowess. Let's see if they'll be able to not make me look like a fool.
If I'm correct here, Avo's the better Spanish to English translator, but he's saying, good
Yes.
luck, Ronaldo, for the primary division in football. So, just I guess
Yeah.
a bit of memeing, I suppose.
Yeah. I think he's talking to Lumiere, but yeah, because he did came from Division 2 to Division 1.
Ah, I see. Okay, there we go. Thank you for the context. And one thing I wanted to bring up, we saw Sacred. He had a pretty bad game. Last game, I think is safe to say, right? Kind of, dying after Channel and Media Hammer. He TP'd bottom, died basically immediately again, and that was basically the rest of the game on loop for him. I think giving him a hero like a Doom with a pretty strong laning phase, with a built-in Midas, and most importantly, with an ulti that's basically the most FU ulti in all of Dota 2. You walk up to someone, you hoof stomp them, and you say, no, you don't get to play Dota right now. I think this is a pretty good, kind of fix for him here, because I think you know, not to read too much into the in-game actions, but it felt like he was not enjoying the end of that last game.
Oh, for sure. And I also feel like this game is such a good Doom game. You know, sometimes you see Dooms being picked early and then someone Razors or Ursa. And Void is not really a hero that can kill the Doom in the laning stage. So he's already going to have a creep there. He's such a happy little Doom. Look at that. He has the extra move speed. He's rolling.
He's rolling. He's rolling with it. Yeah, that's going to be the Devour. He's got that Midas queued up, so the double Midas even. I'm probably going to see like BKB after that just to make sure he gets off that all-important Doom. Great Doom targets this game, right? I would say especially the Tidehunter, not something he can dispel. Faceless Void, of course, and maybe even a Kunkka, but he might not be the best choice because if you can get bowed off, you're not going to kill him, and that's usually the problem in that matchup. And speaking of the matchup, it's the Kunkka mid versus the Mars mid of Alone. I'd say much more of a closer matchup than last time, even though Dark Mago somehow, I don't want to say dominated, but got a lot more out of the laning stage than I think most Bat Riders would versus Slarks.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's still a Kunkka favored matchup, don't get me wrong. Kunkka's just super obnoxious. But I know Mars has decent HP, he just has a lot of burst damage, so he can trade relatively well against that Kunkka. I do feel like the real big part of this game is going to once again be about Oscar, this Tidehunter in top lane. I feel like, you know, Lumiere, he's a really good farmer, but once again, they can't really hold this tower once Oscar gets level 5, level 6. So if they can actually have a hero top to defend that lane a little bit more than they did last time, it will really help their game. I don't think the hero is Doom. It's probably going to have to be Mars.
Yeah.
So if Alone can get a good laning stage and then transition to the top lane, this is really how they buy time for this TA to become gigantic.
Okay, I definitely see that, and I agree with you, right? Because Ogre is just going to die to Oscar eventually, especially when he gets more points in probably Anchor Smash. They're not going for the minus armor build this game, by the way, so no points in Little Shredder. It's going to be Cookie and Scatterblast, which implies Matthew eventually going to go for this Blink Dagger Shard build. Super fun to watch. It's one of my favorites to see. But nonetheless, I agree with your points. I think Thunder Predator, though, they can still look to force the issue. Kunkka is a pretty strong hero at rotating and kind of just forcing fights with Boat, giving you so much extra durabilities. Lumiere, they're going to go from top lane. He's currently in the meld. He's going to have to wait for this refraction to be back up, and he is going to be able to beat the cooldown of Anchor Smash, so he will live. So nice heads-up gameplay from him there.
Right, he pressed the button, but yeah, he was slightly faster.
It's about the knowledge of cooldowns, Bowie, you know? It's not so much about pressing the phase shift, right? It's more about knowing that you could press it and still live. That's what
Exactly.
the WoW is for there.
Exactly. I do like what Sacred is doing here, actually. He is always trying to save his Devour for a better lane creep. This time he didn't really get one, but it's the right mindset with this hero. If you can get the Mana Regen Bad Boy, it's really, really good for your laning stage.
The Mana Regen Bad Boy. And yeah, even the Kobold Swiftness aura can always feel pretty nice in the laning stage, especially. Double rotations mid lane from both supports from Infamous means Dark Mago is going to have to go without a bottle charge. Yeah, but he doesn't care. He's Kunkka, so he's just going to X mark and refill his bottle anyway. Doesn't need supports. He'll be fine.
Yeah, the lane is Dark Mago favor once again, but this is a much better game for Alone because you know he's playing a hero that can actually gank and builds a Blink Dagger and does mid-hero stuff. That Slark game was way too weird for him, I think.
Where do you expect his first rotation to be here on the mid lane of Mars, and what items, if any, do you think he's going to need? Or is this kind of the matchup where you wait for a dive and then you rotate in with Arena and punish?
I definitely think that's the case because he's against the Faceless Void. So, you know, the Arena is not that reliable because of the Time Walk. I think he really just... and that's probably... Okay, they do go for the boat.
Here they go
here.
mid. They're also fighting
spear.
bottom, but the boat... sorry, the first kill is going to be bottom. Our Observer did catch that one. However, rotations mid lane, as Matthew, having rotated it over, is not going to leave without this kill. The first blood is going to be bottom lane here onto the Abba.
Totally different game for Sacred here. Already has the Phase Boots flying out to him, the Midas being queued up. This is already a much better game for Infamous, even though you know it's a 1-1.
Yeah, much better start. I think that's what's important, right? Especially after you take kind of a tough loss. Dark Malgo mid lane, he's actually kind of struggling versus both of these supports here currently. Careful, eyes on, as they're going to get him with the bushwhack. Alone rotates back through and will skewer him with the Spear of Mars. Lots of attention being placed onto this mid lane from both supports from Infamous.
They are focusing again a lot on those stacks. The scan does reveal that they're going for a lot of stacks, and I think that is one problem with, I guess that's one advantage. Thunder Predator is seem much better in coordinating this.
Arena mid. It's a good one here onto Matthew. Hoodwink trying to live through it. The cookie gets her out of the arena, but not far enough away from Alone, who will pick up a second kill.
All right, this is actually Dota 2. I love what they're doing. Now, can they defend top? That catapult will not be damaged by the tower, so Lumiere's going back, but he's really low.
Yeah, exactly. And Oscar has got level 6 and a soul ring, so he's not really scared of Lumiere either. He's going to just look to pull the wave, but Oscar is going to be able to tank this pretty easily. They even go so far to fortify the wave. Without Arena, I don't think Oscar is too scared of this either. Oh, but he's going to let the wagon die. Okay, they're not going to force it. Yeah.
That was smart. That was smart. He did route the aggro, even with the glyph though. They are able to mitigate and save time. Like, as long as Lumiere can keep that tower alive, he knows that buys time for him to farm. So even though it feels like he's wasting time, at the end of the day, it is going to be really good for Infamous. Oh, but look at that triangle there.
Yeah, I was about to point that out. It's farming time now. Yeah, Matthew, who spent the last couple of minutes here just stacking. Hard camp going to go towards Dark Malgo. He's assisted a bit here by that level 2 Scatter Blast, but like a good support, Matthew's not taking any of that CS. He's just going to go ahead and look to enable his mid laner, who is going to have, now especially with that gold injection, a lot of money. He's the richest hero in the game. Eyes on Panda Boon now, as he is currently killed in the camp, just looking to scout any stacks. What is he?
Alone is just... What a greedy bastard. Alright, time for the rune here. Is it top or bottom? Bottom.
Arcane Rune. That's going to be pretty nice for Alone. You know, they did, I want to say, increase the cooldown. Yeah, on Arena of Blood, 90 seconds every level. Used to get shorter. Now it's just 90 seconds every level. But hey, having a faster arena a second time is going to enable you for potentially another fight. And something I'm actually still quite surprised by, Bowie, although I haven't really looked top for the last couple of minutes and seen how it's been done. Oscar, he is still just farming away wave after wave, but he's not really getting that much damage into the tower. So I think that's actually fairly commendable for him, for Infamous rather.
Oh, for sure. No, considering they only have this carry defending the tower, and he's still able to do a lot. He has to be sure that the mid hero is mid, and he is, because he's going to kill that ogre.
Yeah, he's going to kill that ogre. Both supports as well, currently mid lane, as they'll drop a bow down the ogre. And it looks like
this is why
now,
Lumiere has the...
Yeah, they're going bottom with the smoke. They've gotten the Doom, and they've gotten the very easy kill onto Pakash. Nothing Panda could do, even with the Aphotic Shield. In fact, he might be just next, unfortunately, as he shows up to the funeral of the Faceless Void with flowers, and is going to need some of his own flowers now as he's killed off. So a nice dive down bottom from Infamous. They'll pick up the tower, and actually Oscar is being beat back. He might die here. He's going to have to use Ravage, and he's barely going to get away. No more traps, Lumiere. Careful here. Oh, it was a trap, Bowie. He doesn't have any mana here for the meld, for refraction, for anything, and he's going to be swiftly punished. So great kiting here by Oscar, who will make it out alive.
All right. I mean, they do commit a lot, and they force tons of TPs, but still a win nonetheless for Thunder Predator. I'm just happy that this is, they can actually just show this playstyle, because I do feel like they are just as good as Thunder Predator, Ogre though.
Yeah, quick kill here. I kind of like how much Thunder Predator are just looking for these quick pickoffs. Yeah, because there's just a Ravage for a solo kill top, Kisses for basically a kill only onto the support. It's not going to really translate into a push, but the natural question, Bowie, is can Infamous capitalize off of the lack of Ravage, off of the lack of Kisses, and do anything with this time?
They're already doing that. Like, Midas is on cooldown, dude. The actual carry Sacred is starting to get online. And that's all they need. I mean, look at that. Lumiere is farming a huge stack because he knows there's no Ravage. He knows everyone's stopped. So at the end of the day, sure, he could have maybe lived top, but it's still, I think this game is looking really, really good for Infamous.
Yeah. So far, so good. I mean, this is already a TA with the treads, with the Dragon Lance, and almost, not quite almost a full Desolator, but one of the 2 Mithril Hammers nearly finished. Dark Mago is going straight into the BKB this game, Bowie. I thought we might see this Ogre Axe get turned into a Heaven's Halberd. Is there a reason in particular he's deciding to go BKB, especially when there's like someone like a Doom in the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, that's his choice. He feels like the threat of the, you know, arena and the Hoodwink is going to be bigger than TA. And I think he's correct. Lumiere still has a long ways to farm. He's going to get that Desolator, so he can probably get the BKB first. Let's see if the smoke is going to connect, though.
Yeah,
he might
they're
change
baiting
his mind
Pandaboo.
depending on how this fight goes. If they win this fight, he might just go Halberd, you know?
Okay, they're going to look mid lane. There's only a Squirrel here defending the tower, but a TP from Alone is incoming. Boat is going to find him. Good effort there with the scatter, or sorry, with the sharpshooter to try and evade that damage, but won't quite find it. Alone. Oh my goodness, that's a big ol' Anchor Smash. Max level here already. He's got Arena. He's got himself an Illusion Rune. Oh, beautiful dodge. The Illusion dodge on the X marks the spot. Even Dark Mago is going to have to go ahead and tip his hat here towards Summon, but it's Pakaz. Oh no, he's going to miss the Chronosphere. It's still a high priority target onto the Doom, and actually Alone ends up walking into it, but the rest of the kisses are going to be for Axel, who is going to be killed off. TA is joining this fight here, so they might look to turn. There's no Desolator, but the Arena, it's good. It catches 2, and there's no ultis really to play with here. Oskar not going to be pinned to the walls of the arena, and Dark Mago continuing to fight. The Cookie does not find Alone. Instead, it's the TA of Lumiere that they're going to decide to jump onto. Do they have vision? Absolutely. And 5 heroes make very quick work there of the TA in her meld. As it seems like Infamous Bowie, they underestimated the strength there of Thunder Predator as 5.
Yeah, I really feel like they were way too late to bring the TA. They didn't really show enough heroes at the same time, and they just got overpowered by the cooldowns that Kips was talking about. And that's really the key aspect, the key part of this game. They really have to abuse the fact that literally everything was used, right? Now, only the boat is now available for Thunder Predator. So if they can, you know, go for a smoke, or if they can maybe force Roche with the Desolator that is close to Lumiere, then at least they're doing something. If they just farm, I think this gets ugly really quickly, because this Thunder Predator is looking like a really good team. You know, I think this is a better showing for Infamous, but Thunder Predator is still just showing why they almost qualified to TI last year. I guess last season.
Yeah. And that was a really, we saw on the replay there, a really beautiful dodge there on the Exmark into Ravage. I think that's perhaps a little bit of why they felt so confident really going, continuing to fight, TPing in and calling in the Templar Assassin, who otherwise probably would have already had the Deso completed. Here's Dark Mago with the Invis Rune. Yeah, he's not going to be able to complete this combo, but Oskar is going to look at least for the slows. Torrent will find him here. The two enemies, the lore enemies, working together now, but the Doom out from Sacred here looks to turn this fight. Good control onto the Abaddon, as
nice
he will be
shield.
able to still purge off that Bushwhack stun, but with the Doom continuing, they've got no choice but to leave his corpse behind high and dry. Panda running for his life. He's already used Borrowed Time, so this Cookie, yeah, it's not going to really get him out of any trouble. Oskar might be up next, as Sacred and Lumiere just chewing into this Tidehunter. Quite a tanky boy, but now slowed to a crawl, pushed back by the spear. They will be able to claim his life as well, making it 3, potentially even more. Not quite more, but maybe a tower push here. With Deso on the way for Lumiere. Who knows?
Yeah, Chrono is getting pretty close, but yeah, that's exactly what they should be doing. I mean, kind of crazy that Thunder Predator were the ones to kind of force that fight, knowing they had no spells besides the boat. But yeah, great Doom. The BKB was never popped by the Kunkka, so that's why he was able to be stunned and chased down. And this buys time for the Deso, and now they can... Oh, did I hear... Oh, I'm actually hearing the Doom from the...
the replay.
actual-
Yeah.
The replay. Sorry, I got confused there, but are they just gonna Roche here, Thunder Predator? Okay.
Yeah, they've got all their ultis. There's no Doom for an entire minute, and no BKB for the TA. She's actually gonna go for Ags. So I don't see how they could realistically contest this. There's a Blink Arena available for Mars, but the follow-up would be pretty slim.
Yeah, I mean, he's showing bottom with this TP on cooldown. This is not good, so it's gonna be a free Roche. I guess, you know, it would be kind of hard for them to contest anyways, but the fact that he's showing bottom pretty much just gives Thunder Predator certainty that they're safe.
Yeah, there's a lot of infamous wards up currently covering overall just the bottom half of the map. Some good rotation wards if anyone wants to go and farm the bottom area. If I was casting with Winter, he would use this time to highlight the line, but it feels like Infamous, they might have misguided this line, because it seems now with this Aegis and the confidence that comes with it, although Dark Mago, he does actually manage to sidestep that spear. He's going to BKB, so not a bad win, or not a bad pick for Infamous, because that's definitely worth something.
Yes, it is. That's 75 seconds that Thunder Predator might play a little bit slower, although these guys are crazy, so who knows what they might just do.
Yeah, it's like they saw C, the C players, they lose, they get a hero picked off, and then they smoke 4v5 and look for a fight. They do it with their cooldowns sometimes. Oh, we just used all our ultis. Let's go fight.
They'll never see this coming, right?
They'll never see this coming. Yeah.
So, I mean, they're kind of playing this mid part of the map. They're dragging the wave mid just so they can control the big jungle of Dire and eventually take that tier 2 tower. I think what Infamous should do is pretty much copy the same thing as they control the big jungle. They can't really occupy the triangle of Thunder Predator. There's a tier 1 middle that's like super high HP. So that's what they have to do. They're not going to control more than 50% of the map, but they're playing against Aegis. It's bound to happen.
Yeah, and this Faceless Void is starting to become slightly problematic, right? A much different Faceless Void game compared to the last. He fulfills a much different role. I think he's allowed to play a little bit more to the strengths of the Faceless Void, just building lots of stats, being tanky, the Maelstrom, of course, for some kill potential, but otherwise just providing a Chronosphere in these early moments of the game for your teams to be able to, capitalize on their own ultis, as XL is just going to walk right up to Dark Mago and hit him with a stun. TPs are going to be triggered for this. Is he really gonna put a ward down here? He's gonna TP. Okay, nice play.
All right, pretty cool. Yeah, I agree with what you said about the Void. I think at the same time, Lumiere, he has this super greedy Doom, right? That rushes Midas BKB instead of a Blink, so he doesn't have a lot of players like doing stuff for him, which makes the game easier for Pakaz than it is for the carry of Infamous. But once this Blink is done and the Aegis is down, that's when I think Infamous is going to have a window to fight. XL's just gonna feed.
Well, he gets the Observer Ward, so he's pretty happy with that. That's nearly as much gold as his Death Bounty was.
Yep. Mid's gonna fall. I mean, this is looking okay. They're gonna lose 2 tier 2 towers. They still hold their tier 1 on the bottom side for Infamous. I don't think they're too phased by this. It's not like Thunder Predator can go high ground. Their heroes, I don't think they do that very well unless they can get a team wipe.
Yeah, Michael just doing the proper things, looking to delay, cut mid-wave, just be annoying. Hoodwink, much like a tree, is especially strong at doing this. We saw I think this was 728 or 729, where we saw tons of Hoodwinks always performing this. TA, I thought, was going to also fulfill this role, because earlier in the game, Lumiere did have that Ag Scepter in the quick buy. He's decided to go for more of a regular mid lane build, if we can call it that, right? Blink Dagger after the Dragonlance and Deso. So he is going to be particularly strong here as soon as this Aegis. Do you expect Infamous to be looking for a fight as this Aegis is reclaimed within the next minute, or I suppose after that minute they'd be looking for a fight, or are they still going to be looking for example, a Blink on Doom or just a couple more items?
I think you wait for the Blink on Doom because it's really close. The BKB on TA is too long, I think. I hope they go for a move, because if they don't, it's going to be very similar to the last game, where it feels like they're farming, the net worth difference isn't that big, but the momentum is just way too easy for the Predator to get, You have to eventually put your foot down and fight them.
Yeah, there is a third item here, or I guess a second item timing that will actually kind of come through at the same time, and that's going to be Alone's BKB. He's a lot closer to it than Lumiere is. He just needs to farm probably just these 3 camps in the jungle, and he'll have the money for that. Perfectly basically lining up with this Aegis being reclaimed. Then we're going to have Blink on Doom ready to go, and
they're setting up
BKB
bottom
for him. Yeah, they're getting ready for this one. I think they kind of sense that now, or quite soon, is the time to act, otherwise the ship will sail.
I hope they don't YOLO too early though, because Mars is so close to that BKB. If they fight now and they use some of those spells, It's such a waste of time.
It's true, because Thunder Predator, they're just so strong as well, right? We can't discount how strong their team fight is, especially when all these diamonds are green on the top half of the map. There's going to be the 3-man smoke. There's no BKB yet, though, for the Mars. He's just like 50 gold away from it. Not even, he's 10 gold away.
I mean, that's fine. The problem would be if they go and he doesn't TP. I think, you know, it's fine if you don't have your BKB and you go. Just play as 5. I think that's a big mistake, even in this tier of Dota we constantly see.
Here they
Oscar,
go,
though,
wrapping around.
kind of
Yeah, they don't want
leading
Oscar.
here.
They know that one's baits. And the rest of Thunder Predator, they've started showing in other lanes. Matthews top lane, they've pushed out mid, so they're going to keep moving on. Sacred?
That's a juicy one. Nah.
It would be, but they're just going to miss each other. There are no wards down bottom, basically for any teams, and he walked behind the trees just in time. Looks like Infamous, they're going to set up here on this high ground. But lots of heroes missing off the map currently, as Infamous will put down a ward to fight around. Yeah, you send the Abba up that hill first. Oh, or you just send Oscar up to blindly blink up there. There's going to be the ward down, as Axel is going to once again fulfill his support duties and take down that ward. Man's a true support. He sees ward, he hits ward. But now Thunder Predator, they're on the chase. A good stun there is going to stop the Tidehunter, but it's not going to stop Dark Malgo, especially with his haste stream. BKB forced out from alone, as he's just going to have to TP away. They lack the physical damage here to get through them, and there was no Chronosphere nearby.
Okay. I mean, this is all right. Definitely not a great play, but they did move everyone from Thunder Predator. Some BKBs were used, but it's not like Roche is going to spawn anytime soon. But the problem is, they have to play together now. They really gotta set up a perimeter, because if they get jumped, this is gonna look awful.
Uh-oh. And they're going to smoke. There's a BKB on the Templar Assassin. Oscot's going to jump in first, though. The blink away from TA, so they don't quite catch her, but Sacred has been caught. Dark Malgo running on in, but the Sacred's BKB is going to be utilized at the very least. Chronosphere is committed. Oh, a nice sidestep there on the Sharpshooter projectile, but they're still going to get through the Doom regardless. Lumiere, he's got BKB, and now he's going to have to use it to avoid that X mark the spot, bringing him back to a potential death. As once again, he blinks back underneath this tier 3 tower. Axel is the target. Dark Malgo is going to BKB for this, as Oscott gives chase. He's going to have to tank the stun for his Admiral Kunkka. Boat now. This time around, Lumiere does not have an ability to dodge it. He does have at least Invis, but they will be able to at least scout her. Good spear and a great arena here. Catches 4 underneath the tower, but it's not good enough to save Lumiere, who is still going to be fought and killed. They even fortify the tier 4s here for the double multi-shot, but it's still not enough damage, especially with the run buff here still subsiding. They have more than enough HP to continue diving, and even through his second BKB charge, it looks like Alone is going to fall last. The Abo voice lines being spammed by Thunder, as it's a full 5-man dive. They use all their abilities, no Aegis, but they get out of it with a full wipe. Bowie, what a fight from them.
Yeah, they just fight so well on Thunder Predator. I think, you know, if you actually look at every player on both sides, they're very comparable. But as a team, this new Thunder Predator, Old Unknown, these guys are incredible. I think they have a lot of work to do as a team until they can actually face these guys.
Bushwhack
Nice,
catches 3.
Nice Bushwhack.
Yeah, can they get anyone on the way back out? I kind of doubt it, because Dark Malgo didn't have to use his BKB in that fight. And now they're up a lane of barracks. I mean, they're going to smoke and look to get after whatever they can, but their catch is a little limited, dare I say, Bowie. Hoof Stomp into Doom is going to be good to pick off someone, but without the Arena of Blood to kind of corral these enemy heroes, they're just going to run away.
Yeah, but that's their window. They really have to win a fight now and get some control, or else, I mean, the Ogre Smoke kind of breaks there.
Yep. Thunder, they're going to smoke themselves, and they're going to smoke gank the jungle, Bowie. Oh no, this Ogre Frostmage, he never saw it coming. The rest of the team, actually, they're going to show up and defend the mid tower actively. Oscar, without Ravage, Oscar Ravage in 10 seconds again. Oh my goodness, you're right. It feels like the window's already kind of elapsed here for Infamous.
Yeah, the Ravage
Thunder
was
Predator.
probably the first spell they used. That fight was so long, right?
Yeah, it was. And in fact, the last spell they used, Chrono, is ready to go yet again. So Infamous, they're fighting into everything here. We're inside of this Roche window now where both teams know he could respawn. They're just unsure. It's going to be another 50 seconds till he's up. So neither team is, I think, going to make too aggressive. I mean, Thunder will make an aggressive play because obviously they're feeling it and they're up. They've got the advantage. But Infamous, they've got to use every advantage they can get here. If they can get a good arena inside the Roche pit where Lumiere is just free to cleave off these heroes, they might still stand a chance yet.
They're out of smokes on the side of Infamous, so this is problematic. Nice glyph. Ideally, they would like to take this tier 1 just so they can invade the triangle a little better. They're gonna force this.
Yeah, Lumiere is TA, you know, doing TA things. She hits towers very good. That'll go.
9 seconds for the Roche. Can Infamous... I mean, they have to. I really feel like if they just give Roshan away, it's gonna be a stomp. Let's see if they can find a good angle.
Oh, but this would be great if they can actually maintain triangle control. There is a ward up for Thunder Predator, but it's going to be a little bit hard to attack into it here. It's going to be going up to high ground. There's vision for both teams here as well, Bowie. As Oscar, he's going to jump in first. BKB activated by Sacred. Chronosphere is going to catch only the 2 supports. Promising for Thunder Predator, perhaps, is Dark Malgo running in, but no, it looks like Infamous, they're scattering to the wind. The TA's already TP'd home. And it looks like Thunder Predator are going to make the call to reset. A good blink out from the Mars. He doesn't have TP, though, Bowie. Alone, he doesn't have TP.
All right. I think this is better. He can cut one wave, maybe. There's a courier just there.
Yeah, it's
there is vision
shopping.
from Alone.
Axel.
Let's see if he can...
Wow. Axel just channeled a full 6 seconds in front of 4 enemy heroes. He didn't even blink. Didn't blink. That madman. Roche is up. Now both teams will scout it with the TA trap. And, of course, Thunder Predator previously having control over the Roche pit, but there's no Chronosphere. Neither is there a Ravage for an entire minute and a half. Kisses as well were utilized there. Missed that one. So Infamous, they feel like they've got a pretty good setup here.
Lumiere gets axed.
Good blink out. And just doing ABBA things. There's a lot of heroes that you don't want to initiate on the side of Thunder Predator, making this especially difficult. But a nice wraparound here yet again is going to get Michael and Alone into the triangle. So they're kind of corralling the Thunder Predator back towards where their mid-tier 1 tower used to stand. As out comes the arena, Dark Malgo, though, is going to BKB away and shrug off that Spear of Mars. Pakaz and Oscar, they're chasing down the Squirrel as Michael with some fancy footwork gets down to the low ground, but the fight breaking out still in the river as Dark Malgo just continuing to hold 4 enemy heroes at bay, basically by himself. Now, Axel is going to fall, and the rest of Infamous are no longer confident in taking this fight. What?
Yeah.
What just happened?
I mean, there's a Lincoln's on the Void, so even though they had vision with those wards, Infamous couldn't really jump him. And I feel like Lumiere's just super afraid. Like, obviously as a TA, you cannot afford a lot of deaths, but they're just too scared. Honestly, I think Thunder Predator got to them. They're just... Even when they have chances, they're not taking them because they want it to be perfect, and it's not going to be perfect when you're this far behind.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's really not. Meanwhile, Thunder Predator, they're just willing to throw their ults, you know, at supports and get the advantage. And I think that's kind of how you have to play, you know. Maybe don't go all in just to kill, you know, I don't know, a Snapfire, right? Don't everyone commit BKB and Arena and doom her, but, you know, use something. You've got to build yourself an advantage somewhere, and right now that's just not happening for Infamous. And... well, the question is, will they get another chance to do so, right? Because with Aegis now for 4 minutes on Faceless Void, there's a tier 2 still down bottom, so they can buy themselves a little bit more time, but very quickly they'll be running out of it. Summon's going to snipe.
They do have a lot of traps top, and they did cut the wave, so I think backdoor protection is going to kick in. Oh, but if the TA dies...
oh yeah, she gets BKB off. Pakaz is getting chunked, but of course with Time Walk, he's going to actually reverse Time Walk back in. Finds a bash onto Lumiere. Sacred has gone in though and doomed Dark Mago. And Pakaz is still super confident fight. He's got a chrono. He's just going to go for the kill here. There's going to be the arena into the Ravage. They got plenty of damage with the kisses. They've at least gotten through the first life of the Faceless Void, but they've lost their own carry. Lumiere dead for a minute without buyback. Sacred is going to welcome Pakaz back with a stun, and in return will receive a boat to the face. He is going to go down. He's got buyback, but no BKB or Doom, and poor Squirrel can't even scurry back into the base. Alone is just going to be left all that by himself as Infamous will throw in the towel. They'll strike the colors. It'll be a 2-0 win here for game number 1 for Thunder Predator.
Okay. I mean, I think overall this was a really decent showing from Infamous. Their draft was better, their early game was better, But Thunder Predator as a team, their decision making, their triangle taking, their stacks, it was just much better and crisper. And I think Infamous, with their backs against the wall, they were super scared. They never really played Dota after 10 minutes this game.
You got it. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's a really difficult thing to do, right? Is play from behind, especially that far against a very strong team fight lineup. But you always sometimes have to ask the question, okay, we're delaying this game, but for what? Right? What are we delaying this game for? And eventually they just had to bite the bullet and go in for a fight. That's going to be enough from us, though. SeekNStrike and Bowie having brought you this first game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to throw it back over to Avo Plus and the panel to break down our series a little bit more for you guys.
Hello, guys, and welcome back. As the series ended, the series ended exactly as we expected. Exactly as we expected the series to go, which was that Thunder Predator did 2-0 Infamous. I mean, maybe not in the beginning, but once we saw the drafts, we were pretty convinced, this whole panel, the clan included, that those drafts were pretty Thunder Predator favored. Did you think that second game looked better for Infamous, like Bowie said, Trent?
Parts of it, for sure. Yeah. Overall, definitely better. Draft was better. Gameplay overall was better. I think there were a few more mistakes from Thunder Predator that game too, which made it maybe look a little bit closer. I got no idea on some of that stuff. I think maybe they were feeling pretty secure. But game plan and gameplay both better for sure in game 2.
Kips, I'd like to hear one positive thing that you saw from Infamous that game, one improvement, something that you liked about them.
They definitely, even after failing for the first time to get an engagement when the big cooldowns were down, they went again. And they also went for a third time. They went fishing for it constantly, even though we could see in the hesitation that they weren't actually ready to execute it. They were definitely looking for it. And if they would have gotten the opportunity, if the Doom would have actually found the Tidehunter or the Void before he had his Lincoln Sphere, then I'm sure we would have actually seen one of those fights that I was hoping for in the draft.
Okay, I like that. It's good always to end on a positive note, but let's congratulate the actual winners, of course, Thunder Predator themselves. I mean, great drafts, great playing. Are they look like a top contender here for the SA DPC, Trent?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I recognize like their players and their skill, like everything that they've shown in the previous seasons across all their competitive matches. These are players who I would be happy having any of them on my team. I think they bring different things to the table. As we had this whole battle of like Lumiere and Pakaz or Magel as he was before, whatever. He won the battle. He may be losing on the leaderboard, as Bowie pointed out, but he got the official win. That's what really counts. So congratulations there. But I don't know, I see a lot of potential in these guys, and I think they're already there to show it. And I don't think I'll see much more Dark Mago Kanka because he made that look really easy.
Well, look, the problem is you only have 2 bans, and Dark Mago has 4 heroes, so like it's impossible. You can't counter him. He truly has mastered this game. Math, yes, thank you. That's what I was going for. I mean, his bat was also very impressive last game, right? The fact that he didn't really struggle against a Slark, I think it's a good showing for a Bat Rider player. That's the true test. But we're seeing some highlights here of the match, guys, which is mostly, I mean, Thunder Predator seems to enjoy this game. I'm not gonna lie, the amount of times they had, they were having fun this game.
I love the positioning of this Tidehunter. He knows he's a big meat shield, even when it's like. I actually don't think it's strange that they go up here. I just think it's strange that they go this deep.
Yeah, exactly.
they know they're thick.
The first X was fine out of the Invis rune, but then it's like, oh, I'm drawing all this attention, and they just kept fighting.
It's interesting because Oscar was when he was actually playing during the major times and during the qualification to the major and everything on Oping, of course. He was criticized very often for not being green enough of an offlaner, right? He was compared to his to Whisper because they're both Bolivian and they're both offlaners, and they're like, well, Oscar doesn't want to take as much of a protagonist role. He's more of a tank, kind of just goes in and sacrifices himself. But with this team, with this new iteration, with Pakaz particularly, it seems to be working much better. That's the style they need for him. They don't need a third core. They need just a guy who's willing to tank everything.
Yeah.
My favorite way to play off lane.
Yeah.
Run in, no responsibilities, just trying to tank as many stuns as I can. Feels great.
I mean,
maybe style down.
Maybe not no responsibilities, right?
Like in this game, he sees the Doom, he presses R.
Right. Yeah, look, that's hard enough. He did it. There we go. We saw the press R. He even forced the PK from the Doom. I think you should give Oscar more credit. The guy is a think tank, right? Not just a tank.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah. That was not an intended pun, actually, but it worked out. But anyway, we're gonna, as we get to close out the highlights, guys, I would like to hear what your expectations are for Infamous, though, as the league progresses. If you want to go first, Kips.
For Infamous,
Mhm.
I'm not sure. Like it does look like they all have this understanding of the game that just needs to come together in the shot calling still. I do think that there's potential here, but I gotta say they might have gotten one of the harder matchups immediately front loaded, and that's where you just look really very hopeless, even if you are not actually hopeless in the big picture.
Trent.
Yeah,
What-
I think
do you
that's a good
agree?
way to put it too. That is a tough team to go up against first because Infamous on paper looks to be one of the stronger teams that I would rate based on their players. Some players I have like higher praise for than others in terms of like the performances in the past. The DPC, like Sacred, I really enjoy watching him, but I will say that he has struggled on a few different teams, like trying to get that like. I feel like the clutch moments, I'll never forget Sacred Enigma. Never again. He had like the greatest black hole of all time, and it's just burned into my mind. And unfortunately, he'll never relearn or relive that glory. Maybe it'll come back, but I think that enabling him is probably the biggest key to success that they sort of need. And it struggled a lot, especially game one. But game two, they still can really get this concept of like the three cores functioning as one at the most important moments of the game. But yeah, overall, I do have like a pretty high regard for them across the entire field of teams. But getting into top two is going to be very difficult unless they like really shape up. If you're going to drop that fast to Thunder Predator here, because there's a lot of other heavy hitters here in this division.
Well, we'll see if the words of analysts stand true. If Infamous is capable of recovering, if they're capable of finding their footing, and of course, hopefully, we get to see Thunder Predator being as good the whole season. I think Trent is giving you a festive goodbye here with his mug.
Just a little birdie,
Little
holiday
Robin,
season, folks.
Huh? Holiday season. It is his holiday season. Anytime there's good Dota to be found, and you can always find good Dota on this channel. And we promise that for the next games, we will fix the production issue that we had today. We do apologize for those small tidbits of, well, no, massive spikes of lag that you saw in the first game. Let's be honest here. But as you saw in the second game, we are only working to improve, and every day it's going to be just a little bit smoother. So stay tuned. Thank you for the patience, guys. Remember to follow the channel, and we'll see you tomorrow with some more SA DPC. Until then.